We have team coverage, of course, of the Russian invasion with ABC News foreign correspondent Maggie Rulli in Lviv, Ukraine. Also, ABC News' Elizabeth Schulze in Washington, D.C. Maggie, we start with you. We've been talking about the Vice President, Kamala Harris. She met with allies in Europe, announcing the delivery of the Patriot missile systems to Poland, as we've talked about, after the U.S. rejected Poland's proposal to send those Soviet MiGs to Ukraine. So what do we know about this meeting?
Yeah, well, Kamala Harris was very quick and adamant to point out that despite what was quite a public back and forth between the two countries, Poland and the U.S. remain united on this front. They're going to work together in this crisis to fight against Russia in whatever way is possible right now. I would say the only real big headline of progress forward, at least for today, is that she did announce $50 million that U.S. will be giving to humanitarian aid, specifically on food delivery to refugees, things like long-lasting survival biscuits, things that people really need right now just to get to the next day. And she also made a point to sit down, meet with refugees, people that have crossed the border, asking them specifically what the U.S. can do for them. She said she wanted to hear about their journey, about what they're struggling with, and try to figure out really what America and Americans can do to help these people right now. So, a few things that we're moving forward with, but I'm guessing we'll hear a lot more in the days ahead.
And Maggie, we've seen this this movie before of these humanitarian corridors supposedly opened up through negotiation and then shelled and bombed, as if enticing people with the prospect of safety and then just murdering them. I guess, once again, Ukraine's trying to evacuate thousands of civilians through these corridors. But obviously the Ukrainian government say those Russian forces are stopping that from happening, at least in Mariupol, that city in the south. What's the latest on getting people out through some kind of agreement between the warring parties, or is that just impossible with Russia?
Yeah, I think you described it perfectly, Terry. I mean, it's like watching a horror movie practically play out time and time again. Mariupol in particular, there were supposed to be these ceasefires. The deputy mayor there saying no one could get out because the bombings and the shellings simply never stopped. We're seeing videos of huge craters that opened up just today. I mean, the officials there are saying Russians are trying to encircle the city, comparing it to a medieval siege at this point. And, Terry, what's so hard to even think about is to remember there are hundreds of thousands of civilians still trapped inside this city. They've been living with near constant bombings now for more than 9 days. The ICRC is saying, it's a humanitarian crisis that is just turning dire. There's no running water. There's barely any food left. These temperatures are below freezing right now, and there is no heat. I mean, these are not conditions that people can live in. And on top of that, people can't get out. No supplies can get in. So without these types of humanitarian corridors, which it appears as if they cannot hold, I mean, we are looking at many humanitarian crises playing out in real time on just a massive, unthinkable scale and scope.
So, Elizabeth, let's talk money. The Kremlin's accusing the U.S. of waging this economic war on Russia. It's now the most sanctioned country in the world. Let's talk about how these sanctions are actually affecting Russian leadership right now.
Well, Kira, these sanctions have directly targeted Russian leadership as well as the broader Russian economy. We've seen President Putin himself now subject to sanctions, meaning his assets overseas can be frozen or seized. And a lot of people close to the president, President Putin, have also been under these sanctions now. This important point is that they are having a harder time doing business because of the banking sector restrictions, because of the restrictions when it comes to payments. This ultimately makes it a lot harder to do business in Russia, and we're also seeing the impact from the private sector, making it a lot harder for companies that are multinational to stay in Russia. All that combined having an impact on the leadership, but also probably more broadly, Kira, on the average Russian household. We have continued to see this slide in the ruble, the Russian currency, now just worth 1 penny compared to the U.S. dollar.
You know what else we're seeing slide upward is our gas prices. And, the White House keeps saying this is the Putin price hike. But as we well know, we were dealing with inflation. We were dealing with rising gas prices already. How much is this the war? How much is this what was happening prior to the invasion?
This is a really important distinction, Kira, because we did see these monthly records in inflation already get broken before this latest report. And remember, the CPI data that showed prices rising 7.9% on a yearly rate, that was for February. So likely March, which encompasses those broader energy and gas price spikes that we're seeing right now, that's going to be even hotter. Economists are talking about 8% increase. So ultimately, the prices were already going up because of supply and demand issues, probably going to still see more pain ahead.
And Maggie, just a quick question. How's morale? You know, the Ukrainian people rose up, so inspiring the world that now it's 15 days, this war, and it's this gruesome Russian way of war. How's morale there?
You know, Terry, it's such a good question. I have to say, I'm still in awe. Like you said, more than 2 weeks in, you would think that just devastation after devastation would start to break people. But everyone we meet is just rising to the occasion. I mean, yes, you have refugees coming in from the eastern cities. You meet them, and they're shell-shocked. There's just a haunting behind their eyes. But everyone here in Lviv is welcoming them, doing everything they can to still help fellow Ukrainians. On top of that, everyone here is volunteering in so many ways, preparing for war. We've met people writing letters to soldiers on the front lines, making camo nets, bringing food to the refugees and sending food to the front line soldiers as well. It's kind of the feeling of you have to do something for your country right now.
The whole nation rising up.
And we're feeling it too. We're giving like we have not given in a really long time. Sure. We have to band together and raise money, help with resources. Maggie, Elizabeth, thank you so much, guys.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.